See, I know this jam. I'll be rocking it, dog. Rocking.
Middle of my 40s, and this is my life. What a career I've chosen. Tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, we're a day early. Why not? We call this thing SoCal Saturdays. Welcome in Horse Racing Happy Hour. Hanging out with you. My name is Louie Rabeau. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Thursday edition of the program. Our usual time for this show, for sure, on Thursdays, but doing the California thing a day early. If you're wondering where that Churchill coverage is, no problem. I've got Kevin Kilroy for you tomorrow, 10:20 Eastern Time at ESPN 680, ESPNLouisville.com if you want to listen to that one. To my right on the screen, but my left shoulder is a guy named Josh Rodriguez. Happy that he was able to join us tonight from the On the Wrong Lead podcast. And, of course, my usual partner in Barry Spears alongside as well. Barry, back from Laurel Park. How are you, friend? You going to tell the people what you did in the airport on the way home? Are you going to tell anybody the Barry Spears vacation of BWI? We doing
I'm
that?
a lot better now that my wallet has been returned.
They got it to you already?
Yeah, no, I got it overnighted. I had to do it myself.
Sure,
so
but shout out to the TSA, man. That's dope.
Yeah,
all
shout
right.
out to TSA and BWI Airport.
How about
because,
that? Bro, you were so sad.
Honestly,
that text was so sad on Sunday.
It was
sad.
It was fate because I lost it at 4 a.m.
Yeah, of course.
right when TSA opened. So I left it in the bin. They got it right away. They knew, and had to overnight it to myself. So
man, oh man, Josh, have you ever left anything at TSA?
I have not. I have had 2 stories of leaving stuff in Vegas at a slot machine. Actually, 3. Oh, 3. So my phone twice. Once at a slot machine, and luckily security picked it up, and that was no problem.
Yeah.
Once someone bumped into me getting into the elevator, and it fell down into the elevator shaft. Luckily, it was the first floor, so we got the elevator guy there to get it. Like, it was crazy, but no, never left my wallet.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go.
It was heavy too.
There was a time when, so Barry likes to get to the airport about 7 hours before his flights.
Yes,
there was a time that I was not dissimilar that way. I assume that's
you making fun of me?
Is
that what's going on right now?
I think it's hair diversity is what they're going for there. But yes, I started to go for the pat down instead of the walkthrough just to make other people uncomfortable. And then I would act like I liked it because I kind of did. It's kind of a thing about me. Let's get into it, though. We do this every Friday. It is Thursday. We call it SoCal Saturdays. We go through the entire card wherever they're running in Southern California. We even had a Los Al quarter horse episode earlier this year. Why not? Because that's
we did good that day, man. We picked a lot of winners.
Day, actually, we did pick a lot of winners on that card. But we're back to Santa Anita Park, of course. For Gold Rush Day. It's Cal-bred Day there at Santa Anita Park, which means big fields and a bunch of maiden races that you're going to have a hard time figuring out, which is great news for all of us that love the puzzle that is horse racing. Again, Josh Rodriguez, Barry Spears alongside. My name is Louie Rabeau. Let's get into it. We always start with race 1. That's how we do it on this show. I don't know how other shows do it. I don't watch a lot of them, but we start with race 1. Luckily, it's on the grass, is what they always should do there at Santa Anita. An optional claimer here, $67,000 on the line, essentially for non-2 lifers, Barry. And boy, this is it's an interesting thing at Santa Anita. If people aren't familiar with the course, the 6 furlong start is on the turf. You stay on the turf the entire time. That's 6.5 starts, and you have to kind of kick over the dirt for those starts. So it does kind of expose 2 different types of turf sprinters there at Santa Anita Park. Where'd you land in race 1?
Yeah, I thought this was a real interesting first race. A, because it's a big field, and B, because I think the morning line might be a little bit off on this one.
Okay.
I ended up on number 9, Kick You Ride, with the GOAT Juan Hernandez up. I think they needed that last race at 6 furlongs, and the little bit of slight stretch out makes a lot of sense. This horse was doing good work at a mile previously, last year at Del Mar and a little bit at Santa Anita too. Looked like they improved a little bit. Probably need that race. They were off since last August. Ran on April 26th, and this is a really good spot for them. I think there's plenty of pace here to run into. Juan should get a great trip.
9, 8, and 2 for Barry in the first race. 9 on top for him. 1 on top for you. You're going to the rail for this one, Josh. On the inside, and we get a price. If you are correct here in Long May She Reign, daughter of Stanford. She's 6 years old at this point, going for a 4th lifetime win.
Yeah, this early was pretty tough for me. I thought it looked a little chalky, so I felt like I had to take a stand here. I have
Okay.
3 horses on the screen, 1, 2, 10. But if I'm playing a pick 5 here, I'm singling this one.
Okay.
This is gonna be win bet territory for me. I mean, George Papadromo, man, 39% first off the claim
Yep.
on a horse that already looks to be very, very competitive in here. If you look back on time form, I think has the highest time form figure of any of the horses in this race. And hey, he's going to be on the front. So I'll take my chances. At least have a route for maybe 5 furlongs and take a price there with the 1 Long May She Reign. I thought the 10 and the 2 were other prices you could maybe use if you kind of want to blow this up a little bit. But those would be more underneath plays for me. The 10 Pure Chaos I thought was another horse that looked pretty good on the outside, coming in off a win for Baltus and Ayuso. And then I thought the 2 with Jaramillo aboard. I mean, I just bet anything Jaramillo's on the turf at this point. So if I'm getting 20-1 in the morning line on that, I'll take it.
Yeah, that horse gets back to the turf. Only tried it once at Santa Anita. Was on this track, over this course, at 6.5 in an optional claimer under Tyler Bays. But that was back in June of 24. This is a horse that's had a fair amount of time out. Barry's second choice is my first choice here. I'll try the 8 horse on top. That is Crystal Clean, for John Sadler. This is one that just missed last out under Almeida or Ayuso. I'm putting Joel Rosario on top in the first race, Barry, which I'm sure you love. I'll go ahead with the son. The son of violence in here. I will use all 3 of these horses, 8, 5, and 9, in my pick 5, which I'll share later on. But I think Goodnight Nelly, the 5 horse in here, 8-1 for Andy Mathis, is really interesting. Just missed at 6 last out. Just missed at 6.5 before that. Interested to see if this horse can't just get over the hump. And I think we'll get every bit of that 8-1, given the connections there. But those 2 hitting together at 21%, a solid number between the 2 of them. And Andy Mathis is a sprint trainer, hits at 18% on those as well. So I'll go 8, 5, 9 there. So again, just to recap in race 1, Barry will try 9, 8, and 2. Josh also has the 2 in his handicapping, but second, 1, 2, and 10. If Josh hits that try, good God, we're going to Sizzler. And then 8, 5, and 9 for me there in race 1 at Santa Anita Park on Saturday. Again, we're presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. Go check them out right now if you are a new customer. They got a $50 deposit match for new customers, and you can bet anywhere in California with our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com. Moving on to race 2, started the pick 4 here. Moving on to the dirt. And it is a 4.5er for 2-year-olds. We're on the filly side of things here, guys. So we're looking at the 2-year-old filly crop out there in California here, Josh. A mix of first-timers and second-timers. I think a really interesting field, and we've got a number of these today. Where'd you land in the second race?
Yeah, this is where I thought maybe this card started getting a little bit more formful. I landed on the 6, who's your morning line favorite in free closer, 9-5 here, coming off a 34-second gate work. For Mike McCarthy, Flo Giroux aboard here. Maybe a little concerned. Flo's not been off to the greatest start to this meet, right? Only 1 win in 18 starts. But Mike McCarthy, he gets these horses, ready. So a little bit weak on the first time starts, but yeah, I just think that this horse looks like the first time starter that I'm most interested in. I did give a little bit of a look to the other 2 on the inside, the 3 Sauced Up and the 1 I'm Smoking Hot. I thought those are 2 other interesting ones. Obviously the 1 I'm Smoking Hot, had that nice 47 and 4 gate work there. Always like to see these these young horses have a nice gate work, because that means hey, these horses are going to break. And then, like I said, the 3 Sauced Up was more of a just another horse that's been working well. Maybe we get a little bit of a price here on smaller connections. But I really think most of my money is gonna be going through the 6, but I'll have a little bit of the 3 and the 1 here.
Free closer will break from the 6. Mike McCarthy's first start number. When we started doing this show, Barry was around 4%. It's up to 9%. That is not an easy climb, frankly, to get to that number, which means the recent numbers are considerably better than they were previously. Barry, where'd you land in race 2? You're going a different direction.
Yeah, I took the opposite sort of angle on this race. I kind of went away from the first-time starters. I think having a race under their belt and having a little bit of experience might actually go a long way in this field. You have some horses that might be just really, really cranked up on the engine, and a horse that might have run before could potentially rate a little bit, and that's where I landed with the 4 Louie Princess. Didn't get a good start last time, ran on pretty well. They were bet down to 3-1 that day. Workout since, I think they're going to be in a better spot this time. They were pinned down on the rail last time too, which didn't help their cause. And I think Steve Knapp has this one ready to go second time out. And I thought Thirsty Caitlin, the 7 horse, was the other one from that same race. Was 23-1 that day and ran pretty good. Has a nice bullet work on May 13th. I think these two might dominate this event.
I have the 7 on top myself here, Barry, in Thirsty Caitlin, but I did want to point out that Louie Princess, Steve Knapp agrees with you, by the way, with the trio of gate works leading into this one. If she gets out of the gate, he'll almost certainly feel better about that. I agree with you on top here with the 7 horse in Thirsty Caitlin. I love a second timer. I think she makes a ton of sense in here for trainer Edwin Alvarez, who's only looking for his second win in what would be his 24th start on the meet. I went to the 6 horse next in Free Closer, but after that I went to the 3 horse that Josh mentioned and sauced up. I'm really fascinated to see this one on debut. This is not something that trainer Felix Rodon does very well, but I'm interested to see if this one doesn't break out and get ahead. I'm with Josh on that most recent work, especially on a very busy day at Santa Anita Park, finished in the top 10, and that was from the gate at 4 furlongs. So interested to see that one, that Bautista Rondon connection, not especially fruitful, but it should be interesting, at least in this field. So again, for race 2, 7, 6, and 3 for me. Josh went 6, 3, and 1. Barry went 4, 7, and 6. That's race 2, Saturday at Santa Anita Park. You're watching or listening to the Horse Racing Happy Hour. So happy you're alongside for SoCal Saturdays. Josh Rodriguez, Louie Rabeau, and Barry Spears alongside as well. Race 3 up next for us. Does start a pick 3 here if you'd like to play, and it starts the stakes portion of the card as well. Thor's Echo is the Golden State Series race here in race 3, 6 furlongs on the dirt for Cal-bred or Cal-sired 3-year-olds and up. $100,000 on the line here, Barry. And we see the first of what will be a very almost certainly odds-on kind of favorite in Big City Lights. This is one that we've seen in Open Company and, say, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and actually I thought showed up pretty well in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. 7 furlongs last out under Kazushi Kimura, who keeps the ride here. We're going to try to beat Big City Lights.
No, that's an emphatic no. I think this horse lays over this field. Definitely the class of the field. Like Santa Anita, 6 for 8 there. 2 wins out of 4 tries at the distance. Everything's lining up for this horse to run well. They came off the bench from November 30th to May 2nd of this year, ran a nice race in that 80,000 optional claimer, and that set them up very well for this spot. They really look superior here. I wouldn't try to mess with that. I did go to Booksmart, the 6 in the second spot. I thought they ran some good races behind Mana Rose and Reef Runner last year. You see Motorious and Lovesick Blues. I know it was on the turf, but those were really comparable races, and I think this one can get in the picture.
A lot of fast horses in here, Josh. This is kind of a reminder that this class in California is still very, very strong. Barry went 5 on top. Did you?
Yeah, I think if Big City Lights runs his race, I just think it's going to be tough to beat. You know, he looks much the fastest and much the best in this field. I will give an alternative. The 4 Drop 'em, I thought was an interesting horse. I do think that this horse does want to get a little bit of pace in front of him, and I think he just hasn't been able to get that the last couple of races. So I do think the cutback here a little bit, as well as you know, just maybe getting a little bit of pace in front of him and him being able to sit maybe in that like 3rd level, maybe track in like 5th. You know, maybe he gets a little bit of pace and he can surprise a little bit. I mean, he looks to me to be about the 2nd or 3rd fastest horse in this race, and you're getting 15-1. So I'll take a shot with the 4 Drop 'em. Definitely use him underneath the 5 in exactas. But yeah, I think the only other horse I would use in here would be that 4 at a price, but I think everyone's going to be running for 2nd in this race.
Yeah, Drop 'em was the winner of the first ratings handicap last October at Santa Anita Park in the $35,000 event there. 2nd in the Chosen Vron at Del Mar, which is another Cal-bred sprint at 7 furlongs behind Mana Rose, who was another terrific Cal-bred. And so Drop 'em at a price of 5-4 exacta might be the play here for you, Josh.
Yep.
All right, 5, 7, and 6 for me. I also landed on the 5. I'll go to a different spot, second with Lonesome Stew, who did win going down the hill last time as the warm up for this one, but has won or at least run second at the distance in the 2 of tries going on the dirt. 1 win, 1 second. One of those was a 91 buyer, and that 91 buyer was in fact at Santa Anita Park. I think that Lonesome Stew under Antonio Fresu should be part of the exacta there, so I will go with the 5, 7, and 6 as I hit the wrong tab on my browser here. Move on to race 4 at Santa Anita Park on Saturday here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Continuing along with Gold Rush Day, the second of the stakes on the card will be the Franz Valentine. It's a mile on the turf, one of our favorite routes out there at Santa Anita Park. $100,000 on the line, and this is for fillies and mares 3 and up. Josh, we'll go to you here first in this one. Grand Slam Smile is the even money favorite, and here we'll break from the 3 under William Anton Georgi, who's had the Billy's. He's had the mount quite a bit on this horse, and frankly, they've been very, very good together. We're going to try to beat the 3 here.
No, I have the 3 on top. I thought it was basically between the 3 inside horses, right? The 3, the 2, and the 1. I do see, Almond Joy on the outside has a little bit of respect at 5-1 on the morning line, and even the 4 OK Rose at 6-1. But I really think the 3 inside horses are the horses to beat. Most of my money will be going through this 3 Grand Slam Smile. I'm actually pretty happy that this race isn't in the Turf Pick 3, because I would probably have to use all 3 horses. And using 3 horses, if you don't have a single in that rate and that sequence, gets really expensive. Okay. So I'm going to be on the 3 Grand Slam Smile. A little bit concerned about what happened last time out. Kind of had it all all her own way there on the front, but ended up finishing kind of 3rd in that race. But has basically shown the ability to kind of go wire to wire in these races. So I don't really know kind of what happened at that last time. Maybe the horses came up a little short. The last 2 wins this horse's run have been on 6.5, not necessarily the 1 mile. So I went with the 2 inside horses, the 2 Prancing Through Paris, who hasn't won the last 2 times out, but I think kind of the opposite of the 3. I think maybe this horse is going to be a little bit better going longer. So I think this horse stretching out might see a little bit of improvement. And then the 1, Take Another Card, just another horse I think that maybe is just a little better going that mile. I mean, has a couple of good efforts going 6.5, but I think maybe going a mile might be able to turn the tables on the 3. But I'll have the 3 on top, but I'll be using the 2 and the 1 as well.
Josh's top pick, Grand Slam Smiles, never missed the board at Santa Anita Park in 7 starts, 4 wins there. Prancing Through Paris, though, will be her 9th start at Santa Anita Park. If she places anywhere worth a damn, she'll go over $200,000 in earnings just at Santa Anita Park in her career, Barry. Are you going to try to beat the 3 here in Grand Slam Smile?
Definitely not. I know this horse stubbed her toe last time, but I think she'll get a better ride this time. I think they went a little bit too slow, if that makes any sense. I think this horse is kind of like a rhythm sort of horse, and once this horse gets in good stride, this horse keeps going. And I really can't see too many horses in this race that could actually win other than that one. I did use the 1 in the 2nd spot, Take Another Card. Finishes behind Grand Slam Smile quite a bit. The last 2 times they faced each other, they finished second. Take Another Card, finish second. I think that's probably the 2nd best horse in this race. And then I'm going to use the 7 Sunset Grazing in there. Yep. I think this horse is on the improve. I like that race last time off the bench from May 24th, 2025 to May 3rd. Ran a really good race, a much improved race. Stretching out makes a lot of sense. Although this horse has never won at this distance, I think they're knocking on the door and can get in the number at a big price.
317 for Barry, 321 for Josh. 374 for me. I'll include the 4 in my handicapping. In the 3rd spot in OK Rose, Hector Barrios gets them out for Peter Urton. This is one that we last saw down the hill. Sprinting at 6.5 in late March. Before that, though, what had been running at the mile distance has been in the money 10 times in 14 lifetime runs at the distance and 7 total times in 9 runs at Santa Anita Park. So I'm hoping OK Rose can fill up my trifecta for me there in race 4, the Franz Valentine, the 2nd of the stakes races on Gold Rush Day at Santa Anita Park, which is what we are discussing here. Early pick 5, ends here in race 5. And it's one of those races that makes these Cal-bred days so great. A maiden 12.5, going a mile on the dirt here. We get a nice field of 8 in here, Barry. These are the races that you and I absolutely bang our heads against the wall trying to handicap out there at Santa Anita Park, except I think this one was actually pretty capable. Where'd you land in this one?
Yeah, these races are awfully tough because you're kind of looking for speed, and then the speed horses show up and quit sometimes, and things happen. But I ended up on the 2, Mr. Aiken. I thought that first run was pretty good. They were a bit wide in the 11 out of 12 horses in that field. Was kind of wide, and I think there's a little bit more there, especially second time out. Steve Sherman does pretty well, although a small sample size for that. But he hooks up with Kazushi Kimura at a pretty decent rate when they do hook up together. Not much in here. It's really tough to see how this is going to play out, because I think Mr. Akin might be a little bit more speedy than he showed the first time. I would assume, because he was out wide and now inside, he's going to have to be forced to kind of get in the race a lot sooner, and that might be the best thing for him.
Barry's 2, 5, and 8 in race 2. Josh, I know you landed somewhere very different. You're going to try the 6 here in stage run.
Yeah, the 6 is kind of run evenly in his last 3 starts here, but third off the claim here, or second off the claim rather, for the McKenna barn, and this is a barn that actually really likes the sprint to route move. So this is a sprinter that's going to be stretching out. This barn is 16% when doing that, positive ROI of $2.62. And, is another barn that does well, off these kind of middling, 3, 4, 5 week layoffs, another positive move for this barn at, 17% there. So I just see a lot of angles here for this horse that I like. This seems to be a winning move for the barn. Kyle Frey gets aboard, who's off to a very, very good start for the meet. So, I like this horse here at a bit of a price. I think you're getting 6-1 on the morning line on this one. And then I use the 2 horses to that horse's inside, the 5 Trojan Mafia and the 4 Star of Delhi. If you're looking at raw figures, Star of Delhi obviously looks like the standout in this race, but this is a horse that's 0 for 9. I don't necessarily like burning more money on horses like this, especially horses that are, basically switching surfaces for the second time, switching distances. It's kind of, I kind of feel like they're just running out of ideas with this horse. But this is a horse that's been running in mostly state-bred maiden special weights, right? And now this horse is dropping a number of levels. So maybe the class drop is going to be enough for the 4. And then the 5, I just think the 5, hey, maybe this horse just needs to kind of stretch his legs out a little bit and, stretch out to the route distance. The second off the layoff for Jeff Mullins, he's only 20% doing that, and it's only 24% going sprint to route. So definitely a move he likes. Although the way he started this meet, those are actually below average numbers for him. So I don't know. Maybe that's a negative on this horse, but this is a horse that's been coming out of some very productive races. So 6, 5, and 4 for me. If the 8, which I think is a horse that both you guys like. If I'm using the 4th horse, that 8 obviously makes a ton of sense. Dropping from open company to state bred, but I'll go with 6 on top here.
6, 5, 4 for Josh. I'll go 5, 8, and 2. Agree with Barry about the 5. Agree with Josh about the 8. My man Joel Roldan dropping out of the 32 level into the 12-5 level here, I think makes a ton of sense. The 5 horse on top for me, Trojan Mafia. By the way, I should ask my colleague at the Sporting Tribune, Arash Markazi, who's a USC guy, if Trojan Mafia is if that's like an awesome tailgate at USC games or something. Like, it feels like that, right? Like that's no. Barry, what is it then?
No idea, but that's not it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's not it.
I'm going with USC football games because it's Cal-bred day. You understand me, Barry? You get over yourself.
Okay.
It's 5, 8, and 2 for me. Your 2 on my 3rd spot here, Barry. And I do have an early pick 5 play that I wanted to share with the group here. This is my A ticket. Essentially, if you wanted to toss Josh's one in the first race, I think it raises the price to like $16, something like that. So like cheap here. 3 wide, single, 3 wide, based on the picks that you've seen on screen. And so if you're interested in that, make sure that you check out horseracinghappyhour.com, where you can find our picks every Saturday for absolutely free. Or hey, check us out on Spotify or YouTube for this show as well. You can always watch the video version of what we are working on. Race 6
cheap,
coming
cheap.
up next.
You know what that means? cheap. It's like it's one of those fish from Super Mario Brothers. Just for the gamers out there, probably one of you other than me. So,
and me,
yeah.
I mean,
stuff I know, stuff that's in my head.
Someday I'm going to have cool friends. It's going to happen to me someday.
No, you're not.
It's not me that's going to be cool, but I need someone else to be cool. But I keep doing this instead, hanging out with Barry and whatever Josh.
Nerds.
All right, so race 6, we'll move on. Josh even look at me like it's not going to happen, bro.
Like,
all right, so
who you call nerd?
All turf pick 3 starts here. The late pick 5 starts here as well. Josh will share his turf pick 3 ticket with us later in the show. But race 6 here, guys, on the turf. In fact, the Crystal Water is the stakes name. $100,000 on the line here, going a mile on the turf. We're on the male side of things here. Josh, want to go to you here first, since this is part of that turf pick 3. Flyovers in here as the 7 horse is going to be the favorite. Comes off the hill. And was in the Clocker's Corner before that, sprinting, but was in the Hernandez before that. Has been at a mile and won at Santa Anita before, but that was back in May of a year ago. Who are you going to try in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to use the 7 flyover. That's going to be my single here. I have, these horses that come from down the hill tend to do very well going a mile and vice versa. So I'm not going to be too concerned with that. I mean, my only concern is, Timeform's got this listed as a fast pace. The 6, Kanani has got a bit of speed. And then, I think the 8, Curlin's Chaos has got some speed as well, but that's mostly been going longer. I don't know if I necessarily see some kind of like speed duel happening here or kind of meltdown, but maybe a little bit of concern with the 7 flyover. But I'm going to single this horse in the turf pick 3. I mean, honestly, the only way I see this horse not winning is if we do see, like I said, some complete meltdown. And if that is the case, I think the horses number 4, Prince Dolce, and number 2, On the Whim, I think are your horses that could pick up the pieces. I think the 2 On the Whim is actually really interesting, because if you look at this horse, last time out did get some blue fractions and didn't really make up a ton of ground in that race on the Timeform scale. But if you look at the races where he's gotten some pace to run into, those seem to be his best races. So it could just be that, hey, maybe he finally gets the setup here and, he's good to go. But yeah, flyover is going to be my top pick. Maybe a little bit of the 2 and the 4 on some saver tickets, but that's all I need here.
7, 4, and 2 for Josh. And here, Barry, you got the same top 2. You just flipped them.
Yeah. I think Prince Dolce, as you obviously know, has had some bad luck. We were there on March 7th when this horse probably should have won that day at 13-1 to close out the card.
You were so
I was really salty. I was really salty. It's probably the only time that Louie's actually seen me upset. I was disheartened.
No, he should have won. We thought he got there, and then he just didn't get there.
I
couldn't believe he didn't get there. Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Then got another bad run. Was way out wide the time after that. Then they finally get a little bit of post relief and win. Then they show up in this spot, and I think there's plenty of speed in here. I do like flyover, but I'm not really sure why this horse hasn't been running at a mile. I know they won once. They tried it again and then went away from it. And I understand why they're going again for it here, but I don't think that it's this horse's best distance. That being said, I think Prince Dolce should get a really, really better trip than they've gotten the last 4 times they ran, and at a decent price this time. I think we're going to cash again, and we're going to use the 7 flyover in second, and then we're going to throw in the 1 Santa Barbara in third. I think they really ran a good race last time off the bench. I know before that they went a mile and 3/4, and that just wasn't for them. Came off that layoff running. lost to Prince Dolce. I think they're in that realm, so I'll give them another shot.
I think an underrated pair out west is actually in this race, and I'm going to go with the 9 on top here, 8-1. Call Me Sir, Kazushi Kimura riding for Mark Glatt. Mark Glatt, you and I have watched, Barry, over the year plus that we've been doing this program. Mark Glatt really come into his own. So I mean, just remarkably, the last year and a half now obviously was very successful before that, but goodness gracious, the numbers are incredible. He's up to 15% in stakes races, 8 for 27 to start the meet with 7 other horses finishing in the money. He's at 30% winning right now. He and Kazushi are up to 25% together at Santa Anita Park. And this is one that won last out before that, missed by a half a length in an optional claimer at the 50 level, dropped back into state company and won immediately. I do wonder if this one just isn't in really good form. Ran in that mile and an eighth turf classic under Juan Hernandez 3 back in January and was right there at the finish as well. Flyover coming off the layoff here for John Sadler. It's a good angle for him, not a great one. And so I'm, and one that's been sprinting quite a bit. I'm essentially just hoping that we can get a better price from that 9 in this spot here. So 9, 7, and 1 here. The one on the inside is Santa Barbarian, which I think if you're going to have a Cal-bred, that's a pretty good name, man. A Santa Barbarian is about as good as it gets. Pretty proud of that one. Armando Ayuso keeps the mount here, second off the layoff. And Barry, you'll appreciate what I'm about to say. Came off the layoff running. How about that?
There you
Armando
go.
Ayuso keeps the mount
That's
here.
what we like.
Right behind Prince Dolce. So I'll go 9, 7, and 1 here in a race 6. Another of the stakes here, the Crystal Water in that one. Move on to race 7. And we'll talk about the Malaire coming up next. I want to remind you about our friends over there at Amwager and Amwager.com. Thanks to them for always hanging out with us. Go check them out right now. If you have not signed up with them, they have a $50 deposit match on the show, or excuse me, on the website available to you as well. In race 7, moving on, as I mentioned, it is the Malaire. We're going a mile and a 16th on the dirt. This is for 3-year-old fillies. So this is essentially their Oaks for Cal-bred horses, Barry. And I think another interesting field, we talk about morning lines out west quite a bit. And Mohaven being 3-5 in here and has never gone 2 turns. Were you surprised to see that number?
No, because this is the only horse that's won a stake in this race. And there's a lot of horses coming out of maiden races and not really doing a whole lot. Mohaven is probably the proven commodities. Won 2 stake races, state bred stake races to be exact. Ran pretty good in the Sweet Life. I thought on a surface that they probably didn't want anyway. Bounced back off of that effort, ran a nice one in the Evening Jewel. I think the stretch out shouldn't be too much of an issue here, especially against this field. I mean, if it was a little tougher, I probably would play against Mohaven, but I don't really see too many horses here that could beat that one.
Mohaven, a $200,000 Cal-bred purchase, a daughter of Yalpone into Mischief. On the dam side, John Sadler trains Emisile Jaramillo will ride. Josh, it looks like you're going to put out Emisile to the side here.
What?
And just try to
Blasphemy.
I agree. But go ahead. Who do you have on top, Josh?
Well, I just took the most classic angle that there's no horse racing. You bet the 7 horse in race 7. And that was really my thought here. But no, here's the thing about this race. They are going a mile in 16th in this race on the dirt. And if you look at this field, there ain't many horses, if any, that have gone that route of distance. And I don't know. I just started kind of looking around, seeing like, hey, who's going to be able to get the distance? And I'll tell you a funny little stat. I'll Have Another has had 94 horses go dirt routing. 22 of those horses have won. An astounding 23% strike rate routing on the dirt. So I'm going to put the 7, Troisième Étoile. I have no idea if I...
Troisième Étoile is what we were going for.
Okay. Thank you. God bless you as
third
well.
Third star. It means 3rd star. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I'll take the number 7 3rd star on top for Joel Rosario and Doug O'Neill. But, hey, this is the first time that this horse, right, is going to be on the dirt. But you look at this horse, I mean, those are a couple of really nice works there on the synthetic track. I don't know. I think that this horse is going to come out firing, and I'm going to be semi against this for Mohaven. I have the horse in here as my 3rd pick, but I much prefer the 7. I much prefer the 1. Hold That Rainbow. I think just another horse that, the breeding maybe doesn't show necessarily as much that this is one that's going to want to go further. But I don't know, man. I think the work show that they're going to try and get this horse out on the front. And, sometimes you just get out on the front and you get a little lucky there. So I'll be 7-1 with, I'll probably have the 4 on a ticket or two, but I'm not going to have that one on top.
I put the 4 on top here, but 3 and 5 for me in the second spots, gentlemen. Run with Liberty coming off the turf for Jeff Mullins. That's been a very good angle for him recently, and it is very common for us, Barry, to see on this show Cal-bred horses going back and forth between the surfaces, certainly just to get the purses when the conditions fit well. I don't hate the idea of her running here. She is bred. Let's be very clear, very, very bred for running on turf, but the works have been good enough for me on dirt to give her a try in the second spot. Here's another one that I'm really interested in to see if she actually gets back to the form that we've seen before. That's the 5 Cecilia Street. If you go back, and Barry, we watched this race together, the Soviet Problems back at Los Al in December. If she gets back to that kind of form, she'll need to be a little bit quicker than she was on that day, but she's a little bit older, a little bit more time. That was as a 2-year-old. Interested to see if she can get back to that kind of form. I think if that race had been, Barry, at a mile and a 16, she might have actually won it. And so interested to see her get back here. I thought the last race, going the mile on the turf there, at least got her legs back underneath her. She didn't have a ton of late kick in that race, but I'm hoping she can just be a stayer here after just a non-show in the evening. Jewel decided to run her back on 3 weeks rest after that, did Leonard Powell, and I think that was the right choice. Should be interesting in here if she can get back to the form that we saw there at Los Alamitos. Moving on to race 8, second leg of the turf pick 3, so we will go to Josh first, but it's also the start of the late pick 3, $3 minimum on that, 15% takeout there at Santa Anita Park, going a mile and an eighth in the Snow Chief. It's presented by City National Bank, $125,000 on the line. This is for 3-year-olds. We're on the male side of things. This is always a cool race. I look forward to this one every year, Barry, but we'll go to Josh first here. He's a knockout for Juan Hernandez, and Carla Gaines, a horse that's never gone 2 turns, is one of the favorites and the 6-5 favorite on the morning line here. A lot of trust in stretching out here, Josh, to 9 full furlongs from 6.5. What say you about this race, and who's going to be in your turf pick 3?
Yeah, I think the 3 is definitely going to be on my tickets. We're going to see what price we get, because I wonder if everyone's going to have a little bit of concern, right, with this horse stretching out, going 2 turns.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the price cools a little bit. I mean, I could maybe see the horse still favored, but maybe closer to 9-5, 2-1 type price. But I mean, this is a horse that took a huge step forward in that allowance race next time out, and never looked a loser in either of his races. Juan's been able to get this horse out on the front in both those races. I think he's going to be able to get the same trip here. And it's really just going to be, hey, can this horse hold on for, that route of distance is really the only question, because I think the ability is definitely there for the 3. He's a knockout. But 2 other horses I used, the number 7, Third Beer, that tends to be when my golf swing kicks in, is usually the Third Beer. So, that's kind of where I went here. But yeah, I think that this isn't just another horse that you've kind of just seen a nice steady improvement, has basically gone a route distance each time. You see breeding by Mendelssohn here. So distance, obviously going that extra furlong, not going to be a problem. And if anything, maybe helps the horse a little bit. So, like to see that. I think this is a horse that's been running in Cal-bred and in open company. Obviously ran in the BC Juvenile Turf last year. So obviously the connections think a lot of this horse, but
I agree.
Yeah, I just think that, hey, coming here to the stakes race here, I think maybe he's just going to find an easy enough group here where he's going to be able to just kind of win. So I like the 7 Third Beer, and then the 8 John Metcalf. Hey, this is a horse that is coming off a win. Does look like a horse that has been progressing and getting better and better after the gelding, came out and won. Now, JJ Hernandez obviously jumps off, so maybe you get a little bit of concern, but I'm a fan of slot machines, so I'll take Joel Rosario. I'll take the Joel Rosario experience, right? Maybe I lose all my money, maybe I hit a jackpot. You never know what you're going to get with Joel Rosario, but I think on the grass with a horse that looks to probably be coming from off the pace, I'll take my chances with Joel, especially on the outside at a huge price, 20-1. So I'll be 3, 7, 8 in here.
Are you using all three in your turf pick 3?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Barry, you went a different direction in this one. I'm interested to hearing you coming off just a bit of about a month off, essentially. 4-letter Powell is Unrivaled Time. We'll break from the inside under Armando Ayuso. What do you like about him?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had a tough time deciding whether to put the 4 on top or the 1. And what tipped me over the edge to pick the 1 is the January 8th, 2026 race, the Eddie Logan, where this horse lost to Stark Contrast and Brigante. Either one of those in this race, they would lay over this field big time. This horse ran really good against those two, came out of that race in the Pasadena and didn't get a great trip, laid the horse off. I think that little spacing between races is real key here. Even in that Pasadena, they lost to Greenwich Village and Medici, who would be really tough in this spot as well. So I went with that one on top. But Trump Era is really interesting. First time on the grass. And let's just say they got a 75 buyer that day. Let's just say that number's off. Usually they're not off by like 10 points. So this horse clearly improved off of the layoff and the switch of surfaces. I think that improvement can continue in a race that's pretty wide open, I think, for the most part. After you get by the 3, it sort of opens up. But I think the 1's back class should kick in here, and we're going to use the 4 Trump Era in second. Might get more than that 15-1, actually.
Snow Chief, a 10-horse field. I think just a terrific race here. You're going with 2 horses that Josh just doesn't have in his handicapping, and I think that's a good sign for the race. I went 7, 8, and 6. We all have the 7 in our handicapping. Josh has that as the 3 on top, has the 8 later in his handicapping, but the 7 in here, third Beer, as he mentioned, again, was in that Eddie Logan with Stark Contrast and Brigante, but after that did come back to win at Santa Anita Park, going over the mile course there. Seems to be in every other type as well. Was second in that Zuma Beach. I think third Beer makes a lot of sense in here. 7, 8, and 6 for me in this one. In the 8th race, we'll move on to race 9. Keep moving along here. SoCal Saturdays in the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Josh Rodriguez, Barry Spears. My name's Louie. We're both. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of the program. Optional claimer awaits us in race 9. State Breds, of course, $67,000 on the line. We're going a mile here, Barry, and I thought this one was fun as well. Where'd you land in race 9?
Yeah, this is the horse that I think is the most likely winner on the card. Start the Ride, the 5. Was running really good in against the top-notch 3-year-old. So happy. Potente ran in the Derby. Robusta was in there in the San Felipe. They just were overmatched. Once they get away from those horses, they run pretty good. They did the last time, first time Lasix as well. They were kind of a wide trip in a short field last time. I'm willing to forgive that on a surface that they probably didn't like either. I think it was just kind of an experiment. Now they get back to what they were doing before, and probably will run a whole lot better. And I don't expect this horse to be favored, so I think this is a good bet.
5, 9, and 2 for Barry in this one. Josh, you're going to go to the rail here. The 1 horse on the inside is the 9-2 Cowboy Mike. Boy, Joel Rosario better have a good day or you're not.
I mean, you remember the old commercial, the Mike Vick Experience?
Oh boy!
Right, where they had they put like it was like a ride and like he was like doing flips and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was a great commercial.
Yeah, it was a great commercial, right? It was a great commercial. Yeah. That's the Joel Rosario experience is very similar to where you're just getting absolutely blasted, while running down the line. But I think I basically have the 1 and the 5 pretty even in this spot. So I do agree with Barry. I think the 5 looks great. I mean, obviously, this is a horse that was running in way, way tougher and, didn't embarrass himself in those races. I mean, obviously, finished 10 and 11 lengths back, but, at least beat, 1 horse home in both those races. And then, they tried the turf. I don't think that's what this horse wants to do. And honestly, he kind of just ran evenly in that spot. That was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was kind of like a paid work there. I like this horse getting back to the dirt. Obviously, he's got races in here that absolutely fit. But yeah, the one Cowboy Mike. I just think that this horse being on the rail with Rosario, I think that this is a horse that has definitely shown he can run this distance. And, I do think that he's probably your speed in this race, especially drawn on the rail. Has won wire to wire before at Santa Anita in allowance races. But I don't know. I do think the fact that Rosario's aboard and, he's like Irad to me a little bit sometimes, where he's just going to pull a horse back that maybe he maybe lets the horse relax a little too much. So I could even see him maybe sitting second or third. I like the 1 and the 5 the most. I put the 4 King's Ride in third, but I'm probably not really going to be using him. I think he looks slow compared to the other horses in here. And this is a horse that's only won a maiden race. Went to a Cal-bred allowance race, and I mean, I guess maybe if you think that the stretch out's going to be good for this horse, but I don't know. I think Juan Hernandez is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the price on this horse. So I'll stick with the 1 and the 5 as my top picks. Maybe use a little bit of the 4, but not much.
Who's doing the heavy lifting?
Isn't that Juan Hernandez? Or is it
Juan Hernandez. I remember that guy. Oh, yeah, there you go. Little Juan Hernandez. I remember that. Yeah, there you go. All right, little Juan Hernandez. All right.
The GOAT.
All right, there you go. Little trip down memory lane to Del Mar there, Barry. I would. It's gonna rain here for like 6 days.
Hey-o.
Are you getting this crap right now, Josh? Boy. Are you getting this just like rain all weekend?
Dude, I got it earlier this week, man.
We're getting crushed, bro. I mean, like I wanted to throw sunglasses on, go to the neighborhood pool. None of that. Nothing. Just none of it. That's terrible.
And my coworkers in Miami were complaining about the humidity.
Joel Rosario weather is what you're saying.
I'll go 5, 4, and 8 here. Completely agree.
But I changed his name. His new name is Ashy Larry, because he's the dominator of a World Series of Dice. You don't know what you're gonna get. He might steal money out of your purse, or he could hit the 7-11.
He could go from Ashley to class. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
5, 4, 8 for me. I'm throwing Spiritual Advisor in here. This is one that we saw run 4th in the Thor's Echo, but has won at the distance, has been in the money 5 times, and has been in the money at Santa Anita 7 of 11 career starts. This is one that you always find in California bred sort of company, has been good at the mile. So I thought for a second or third option, Spiritual Advisor, the Orantes Bonde team, together 14% at Santa Anita Park, I thought made a lot of sense here as well. Race 10, closing out the card here on Gold Rush Day at Santa Anita Park with Josh Rodriguez and Barry Spears. My name's Louie Rabeau. We call this SoCal Saturdays. This is the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. I'll be on ESPN Louisville tomorrow with my daily show over there. Kevin Kilroy will join at 10:20, and we'll talk about Churchill Downs, a Saturday late sequence, including the Kirtana overnight stakes, a 1.5 mile turf race there at Churchill. But a maiden special weight awaits us in race 10, gentlemen. And Josh, you'll close out your turf pick 3 here. Maiden special, 65,000 on the line. We're going a mile on the turf. And I love these races, Josh, because it's a bit of a mix of routers and sprinters who can just get the 2 turns. Where'd you land on the last one? I think this was cool because I looked at our handicapping, very different across the board. It's one of those really good closing races at Santa Anita.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. For this last race, I definitely took a shortcut. I saw Juan Hernandez on a 20-1 horse, and I'm using that horse on top.
I don't blame him.
Juan has just shown consistently over the last couple seasons in California. He's just the most consistent and the best guy going out there. And it doesn't matter who comes in or who ships in. He still somehow just ends up on top or near the top every season the last couple of years. So, I mean, the fact that he's getting up for Ryan Hansen on this horse, either he knows something or he owes him a favor. I don't know which one it is, but Ryan Hansen, I think a little snake bit, right? He's only got 3 wins to start the meet, but he's got 6 seconds, and 3/3. So, I think his stats probably a little unlucky there to have so many seconds, but you look at this at the move here for this for Ryan Hansen going that dirt to turf by a 13% move, but you see a sire Halliday that is, progeny of Warfront, who we've already known to be a very, very strong, turf sire. So I do think that the 12 is going to take to the turf. So I have that horse on top in this spot. And then, I do like the 9 Gaines here, named for, I'm guessing, Carla Gaines, the trainer here.
Actually, the Harris Farm, yeah.
Yep, Flo Giroux aboard here. Just missed last time out. Was the leader in that race. I do think that he's probably going to be the leader in this race. Obviously, sired by the great Mo Forza, who is an awesome California turf horse. And then Artie Schiller on the bottom. I mean, this is just screaming for turf here. So I think second time out here, expect to see a stronger effort. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse just gets absolutely hammered. But it's by name recognition and just, hey, that effort last time out looked like a winning one. And then, I think the other, I didn't put this down on here, but I did like the 2 Tight Daily as well as the 4 Practical Blame. So both those are going to be in my turf pick 3. Kind of just, big old price plays here. I'm just taking a shot here. Obviously, Ricky Gonzalez on the 2. Peter Urton. I mean, look at this horse. This horse has been working really, really well since that April 4th effort. And I think maybe the stretch out here is going to be pretty helpful for this horse. And then the 4 Practical Blame, they're putting the blinkers on this horse. And, I think, the fact that Frazu is getting aboard here is another, just a little bit of a tell. Like, hey, maybe there's something here. Getting this horse, third up here. Frazu staying aboard for the 3rd time. He most certainly probably got other calls. So the fact that he's staying on here at just this humongous price has got me at least interested to toss this horse on a ticket. So 12 on top. I'll be using the 2, 4, and 9 as well.
There you go. Josh's pick 3 is on the screen. Singling in the first leg, 3 up in the second, and 4 in the final leg, the old reverse funnel, if you will, here for Josh. $36 if you wanted to follow along with that. Barry, you went a very different direction. You and I only have one horse in common, but you landed on the 5 on top in the closer, Oracle of Paradise. No one's ever called you that.
Yes. I'm going with the Ashy Larry in the second half of this double. And this horse, ran on September 7th on a mile in the Grade 2 Del Mar Juvenile Turf. Ran pretty good that day, despite the poor trip. Lost to Hey Nene, Plutarch, Proletariat, all pretty good horses. Came out of that, went on the dirt, didn't do much, laid him off from October 4th to April 4th. Ran a decent comeback race, going 6.5. The stretch out makes a lot of sense here, being out of Golden Sense. I think this horse wants to go longer than that 6.5. Catches a field that isn't that stellar, and I think Joel can school him here if he really tries.
5 and 8,
but I'm also going to use the 8.
Yep.
Right, the Lucky Sniper.
Yeah, you are.
I had to use this horse. This horse has a full sibling that showed some speed. It didn't break the maiden yet, but is really speedy. This horse didn't get out of the gate first time out. Really was kind of flat-footed. And didn't really get a great run until the stretch. They were in and out and kind of wide in the stretch. I think with a better trip, this horse can run a whole lot better than that. 20-1, I'd have to give that one a shot. And then we're going to use the 11 Flash of Lightning in third, getting blinkers on, going the same trip. Ran an improved race last time, even though they got DQ. The horse was kind of weaving in, trying to dodge some other horses, but ran good. But I think this horse might be kind of a Johnny come lately kind of thing. So we're really going to bury this Kiki Vandeweghe double. 55 for those.
For Barry there in the close. That was a 55 reference by Barry there. 7, 1, and 11 for me. Throw the first punch. I get Emisal Jaramillo for Doug O'Neill. The two of them win 708% of their races together at Santa Anita Park. This one just missed last out. And Barry, I don't know if you remember this race in April. The stretch run was just everybody running into one another, and this horse moved up to second from third. And I think if is not bothered in the stretch, goes ahead and wins that race. So I'll go ahead and put this one on top for Jaramillo and O'Neill. Went to the one horse in Robin Olds. Second, Armando Ayuso for Phil D'Amato. This is another one that just missed last time, but was in that weirdo race was second, frankly caused a lot of the bumping and moved down to fourth in that one. If that horse doesn't bump a bunch of horses, probably isn't a maiden anymore. And agree with Barry on the 11, Flash of Lightning, Kazushi Kimura. For Richard Baltas, throwing the blinkers on, and I think that's just to get out of the gate a little more. So I'm hoping that race from April 19th runs back, and I get all three of those horses as part of the final equation there on the closer at Santa Anita Park. Again, visit us at horseracinghappyhour.com for all of our tip sheets and all the good stuff. You can also find every single show we work on. Everything automatically populates there, so we'd love to have you come follow us at the website as well. I apologize very much for taking you inside the mind of Rodriguez today. We will try not to do that in the future. What are you guys working on over at the On the Wrong Lead podcast right now? Josh, you guys got shows coming up at all?
Actually, a little bit of time off this week. So not too much going on. We did Drinking Champagne, covered a little bit of the Monday card, Turf Pick 3 for the Monday Santa Anita card. So you can check that out on our YouTube or podcast feed. But we're going to be in Vegas next week. So me, Caleb, and Mark are going to be in Vegas for my 40th birthday. So we're going to be partying up. So probably not going to be any condition to stream. If you've watched our last Vegas stream, you know exactly what happened. If you didn't, message me and I'll send you the link.
Well, he's Josh. Barry, you got anything going on? How's the weather? Awesome.
Nope. Awesome.
Oh. Okay.
85.
Yeah, nothing going on but the weather.
We need
a
a
understood. Yes, right.
yeah. Going to the beach.
I was gonna say Barry's very happy nothing's going on. I'm Louie Remoe. He's Barry Spears. He's Josh Rodriguez again. Kevin
Got
Kilmer.
my wallet
tomorrow
back.
Morning at 10:20 on ESPN Louisville, ESPNLouisville.com. If you'd ever like to listen to that segment every Friday at 10:20. We'll be back again on this thing next week. We hope you are too. Thanks for joining us here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour.